Hello everyone. Last video, I mentioned we'd be talking about information and intellect starting with the Incans. Well, turns out it will just be Incans and atheists, as I could not find any other methodology that gives answers for the other questions posed in the previous videos. I honestly thought I'd found more when I first started my research. Couldn't find them this time around. So let's just dive right in. One of the most popular Incan myths tells of the Andean god Viracocha gave rise to a universe that had no light and was inhabited by giants who disobeyed him. This motivated Viracocha to create a torrential rains and consequently a fatal flood. Viracocha decided to try again, this time creating beings similar to himself. Thus, human beings were created. Then he gave the gift of light by creating the moon, the sun, and the stars. To civilize the humans, Viracocha sent his sons as an example of living life in harmony with peaceful behavior and dedication to the harvest. With the passage of time, and despite the generosity of Viracocha, many men began to mock their god. As punishment, they were transformed into stones, which served as a lesson for others, that although Viracocha could be kind, he also had the power to castigate them if they misbehaved. As we can see, an explanation for morality is given in that this god sent his sons to teach morality. But what about intelligence and information? Well, this god is not very smart. Let me explain and compare to the great I Am. With both, their creations disobeyed. They both sent a flood and restarted. The difference is one gave chances, but also restarted while there was still hope for the creation. The other didn't. So they were either immoral or too stupid to realize that their creation was turning away. As such, they either fail in the arena of the previous video or in the arena of this one. Why would intelligence, though, be required for a creator? Because of DNA. According to a source I found, the DNA in one human cell has 1.5 gigabytes of information. After doing calculations for the amount of information for one person, it comes up to anywhere between 15 to 150 zettabytes. For perspective, the internet has an estimated 40 zettabytes on it, or 40 trillion gigabytes. 1 gigabyte is equal to about 4,400 books. This could hold the entire Library of Congress over 100 million times. So just for one person, you have to be incredibly intelligent to put that much information into them. This isn't even going into the intelligence for all the other animals or the application of said DNA for reproduction. So, how does science say all this came to be? In simple terms, a chemical soup ended up merging just right to form the first single-cell creature. If we assume 1.5 gigabytes of information for this creature's DNA, it is akin to putting a monkey at a typewriter and having it type out an entire collection for a small town library, and for any one mistake, throwing out the entire thing and starting over. This doesn't even look at the additional information that would eventually needed to be added for multicellular creatures, or the duplication of said information. Yet, that is exactly how atheists say our DNA came to be. Aside from that problem, there is also the problem of information from non-information that simply does not happen. Now, once I have talked with an atheist and brought this up, and they tried saying that people have died and then came back, and while they were dead, they just seen a black void that had nothing, and that was the same as information from non-information. They are mistaken. Black and empty are two descriptive terms that the brain would have received as information from the eyes. Still, information from information, not information from non-information. Again, information from non-information does not happen, same as something coming from nothing does not happen. It just doesn't. Yet this is what atheists want you to believe actually happened, instead of giving glory to a creator that was all-knowing, omnibenevolent, omnipresent, living outside of space and time, that created space and time, the unmoved mover. But it is easier to believe that there is no one we are accountable for, because then we can live as we please. After looking at all of this, our next video is going to be looking at science, and then there will be one more after that. Good day, and God bless.